Hello again. Hopefully by now you'll begin to realise that we've got to start looking at the world like that, in terms of two-dimensional shape. So if I just put that shape down there, you see it's just a shape, it's just a flat shape, and there's lots of other shapes as well. And because these don't have a name, they're meaningless, they're just shape, the only way you can look at those, you can only look at those with the right bit of your brain. And if you remember, in the right bit of your brain, that's where the artistic bit is. So this is how we've got to look at the world. Now let me show you what these are. So if I turn this over, there we are. You see that's some silhouettes of some rocks in the foreground. That is a reflection. Now you may be tempted to think because it's a reflection it has no substance. It doesn't matter. It's not about the substance. It has just as much authority as those rocks, because look, it's a shape. Can you see that now? Can you see that's a shape? And here's a shape of, again, I'm reluctant to call it water because as soon as we start naming things, then that's when we get into trouble. So let's not name anything. There we are, that's that shape there. And there's a shape there. If I can fit it together, that's the mountains there. There's a shape in there, and that's the sky. And that's how you look at the world. Now that's quite easy because it's sort of in silhouette. Let's make it a little bit more difficult for you. Now, if I show you that shape there, if my lovely cameraman comes and concentrates on that shape, again you can see that. You can see that as a shape. But if I put that on there, and if I show you where it fits into the picture, you'll see it's that there. There's a definite, you'll be able to see it now. There's a definite shape, and it's that. And look at this peculiar shape. Again, look at that. You can only look at that with the right side of your brain because it's totally meaningless. It's just flat shape. But that actually represents, again, if I show you that, that represents a road. Now, if I take that off, you should be able to start seeing those shapes. And that's how we look at landscape. So one thing which I think is quite a good exercise for you to do is to go and find a magazine or a newspaper photograph of some landscape and get a felt pen and draw around it. Because as soon as you draw around it, can you see you start to see that as your shape? Because if you were sitting at the top of this cliff and you were wanting to draw that beach, you're going to get into all sorts of problems because you're wanting to show it's three-dimensional, and you never look at things in a three-dimensional way. So you need to look at things like that. And I've said to you in the past, what you have to do is you have to really stare at something. And what you will actually experience, you'll experience this shift from one side of your head to another. You will actually feel that happen. It will just kind of, a bit like a ball falling into a pocket of a snooker table, it will just sort of clunk. But it takes quite a few seconds for that to happen. So so if you do that, that's really quite good to kind of train your brain into looking for shapes like that. Then the exercise I've got for you today, it's not easy, but in some ways you have control of how difficult it is. I want you to go and find a window in your house. Now, you've probably got lots of windows in your houses, so have a good look round, and it's up to you if you want an easy window or a hard window. This is the window I chose, and I did this yesterday. It's got, well, I'm very lucky actually. I look over at the sea there, so I've got the sea. So I just sat back with my sketch pad and my drawing board, which is always useful. And I just, again, what I've told you before, I just sat there for quite a while and I squinted at it and I started to try and see these as blocks of shapes, just as I've shown you in these photographs there. What you then do, again, keep everything nice and relaxed. What is quite helpful is if you can see what is kind of halfway down the window. So you can see I've made a little mark there, and I looked to see what was halfway down my window. And I could see about halfway down my window was this bit of fencing here. So I knew that's where I was going. And I looked and realised that the house didn't quite come halfway. It was sort of, it's a bit over a third, but less than a half. So I usually start off, you can see, I make little marks on the perimeter, and then I start to kind of block it in. This is nothing to do with perspective, and my husband is an architectural designer and he's probably gritting his teeth now. So it's nothing to do with perspective, because we will cover perspective. It's just very much going in. See, I've got the headland there, which I then put in, and the sea, and I worked a bit here, I worked a bit there. Luckily there wasn't very much at the top, there was just a bit of my house, so I did that. But again, just shapes. I don't want you to add any value, any tonal value at this point. All this is putting shapes together. As I say, it's entirely up to you what window you choose. You will panic, as I said before. You will have this kind of panicky stage. I didn't use an eraser at all, and that I didn't need to. Lots and lots of pentimenti, lots and lots of scribble. And if you just keep going at it and relax and put all the shapes together, you should get something which approximates to the outside. So thank you for watching, and go and have a go with that. Thank you.